As we grow older, we start to see life in a different light. The things that once felt urgent, people's opinions, social expectations, endless explanations, begin to lose their power over us. What truly matters now is peace. Not the kind that comes from silence or distance, but the kind that lives inside the heart, steady, calm, and unshaken by the noise of the world. Many seniors I've spoken to say the same thing: I just want a peaceful life now. And you know what? That's not asking for too much. After decades of working, raising families, helping everyone around you, you've earned the right to live with ease, without having to answer every personal question or justify every choice. But the truth is, even in our golden years, people still ask things that disturb our peace. Some do it out of curiosity, some out of habit, and some without realizing how uncomfortable it can feel. In this video, we're going to talk about something that every senior faces: how to stay unbothered by intrusive questions. Questions about your money, your children, your health, or your choices. Questions that make you feel like you have to defend yourself. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Your peace is too valuable to be shared with every stranger or nosy friend. Before we start, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Just drop your state or city in the comments below. Category 1, questions that invade your privacy. 1. How much money do you have? What's your pension? This is one of the most uncomfortable questions any older adult can face. It might come from a relative who says it casually at a family dinner or a friendly neighbor who seems curious about your retirement life. But let's be honest, money is private, and no one has the right to make you explain your finances. Many seniors in the US have shared stories about how this question made them uneasy. It's not because they're hiding something, it's because they've learned that money often attracts opinions, judgment, and sometimes even manipulation. There was once a retired man, Harold, who shared too much at a barbecue about his pension and savings. A few weeks later, that friendly neighbor came back with an investment offer that turned out to be a scam. Harold lost part of his savings, but more than that, he lost some of his peace. That's why it's important to set a gentle but firm boundary. You don't owe anyone financial details. When someone asks, "How much is your pension?" or "Do you make enough to get by?" you can simply smile and say, "I manage just fine, thank you." That one line says everything. Remember, privacy is not secrecy. It's protection. It's your way of saying, my peace is worth more than your curiosity. At this age, your comfort, safety, and dignity come first, always. 2. How successful are your children? This one can sting in a quiet, hidden way. Older adults often carry silent pressure about their children's lives. Maybe your son didn't become the doctor or engineer people expected. Maybe your daughter chose a simple, happy life instead of chasing big titles. Or maybe they are doing very well, but you still feel awkward talking about it because it can lead to comparison, jealousy, or gossip. I once met a woman named Grace who shared something touching. At a family reunion, her cousin kept comparing their children, his with fancy cars and her with simple living. Grace smiled through it all, but later, she admitted she felt a little embarrassed, not because her son failed in any way, but because she realized how much pressure society puts on parents, even in their 70s. Here's the truth: your worth has never been tied to your children's achievements. You've already done your job. You raised them, guided them, loved them. What they do now is their journey. When someone asks, "What are your kids doing these days?" or "Are they successful?" you can say, "They're doing what makes them happy." That's a beautiful, peaceful answer. It shows pride without comparison. Because success isn't about wealth or fame, it's about living a kind and meaningful life. 3. Are you still working, or do you just stay home? That little phrase, "just stay home," can carry more sting than people realize. Society has a strange habit of measuring value by busyness. If you're not working, volunteering, or constantly doing something, they assume you're not productive. But you know better. You've earned this time, every slow morning, every peaceful afternoon, every cup of tea on your porch. I once knew a retired teacher named Mrs. N. Wynne. She had spent 40 years shaping young minds, helping children grow into confident adults. After retirement, she loved staying home, reading, tending to her plants, and enjoying quiet days. But one of her friends used to tease her, "You should get out more. Do something." One day, she smiled and replied, "I've spent my life shaping minds. Now, I'm shaping peace." That simple line holds deep truth. Retirement is not an end, it's a new season. Some find joy in volunteering or community work. Others find it in rest, reflection, and peace. Both are equally valuable. So when someone asks, "Do you just stay home?" you can smile and say, "I enjoy my time in my own way." You don't need to justify your lifestyle. You don't owe anyone an explanation. This stage of life isn't about proving yourself, it's about enjoying yourself. These questions, about money, children, and how you spend your time, all have one thing in common: they test your boundaries. They poke at your peace. But here's what being unbothered really means: you don't react with anger or shame. You respond with calm confidence. You give short answers, warm smiles, and then gently move the conversation towards something lighter. Because peace, once lost, takes a long time to find again. So, protect it. You've already earned it. Category 2, questions that pull you into drama. Let's talk about 3 of the most common drama trap questions, the ones that look harmless but quietly disturb your peace. 1. What do you think of your son's or daughter's partner? This one can be tricky. On the surface, it sounds innocent, even caring. Someone might say, "So, what do you think of your daughter's new boyfriend?" or "Do you like your son-in-law?" They might sound curious, but deep down, this question often carries hidden intentions, sometimes gossip, sometimes comparison, sometimes plain mischief. As parents, you naturally have opinions. You've seen more of life, you've felt more of love and loss, and you've learned what works and what doesn't. But sharing those opinions publicly can easily create unnecessary hurt. Once words leave your mouth, you can't take them back, and sometimes they travel farther than you expect. I remember an older gentleman, Mr. Collins, who learned this the hard way. His daughter was dating a man he wasn't sure about. One day, a neighbor asked casually, "So, do you like the guy she's with?" Mr. Collins shrugged and said, "He's not really her type." Within a week, his daughter heard that comment, and it caused a long argument that strained their relationship for years. He told me later, "Should have kept my peace. It wasn't worth losing her smile over a few words." So, when someone asks you about your children's partners, it's best to stay neutral. A calm reply like, "They seem happy together," or "I trust their judgment," ends the topic with grace. You're not avoiding the truth, you're protecting your family's peace. Because when your children are happy, your heart stays light. 2. Did you hear what happened to your neighbor, friend, or church member? Now here comes the oldest trap in human history, gossip. It often wears a friendly smile. You might be sitting with friends, sharing coffee after church, or chatting in a senior center, and someone starts with, "Did you hear what happened to Mary?" At first, it sounds like just talk. But soon, it turns into stories about who's sick, whose children failed, whose marriage is falling apart. And before you know it, the air feels heavy. Gossip doesn't just waste time, it drains energy. I once knew a kind woman named Eleanor who loved being around people. But after a few months of attending a chat group, she realized she went home more anxious than happy. She said, "It's strange, I went there to feel connected, but I came back feeling tired." That's what gossip does. It steals your emotional strength in small, invisible ways. So, what can you do? You don't have to be rude or walk away dramatically. Just quietly shift the topic. You could say, "I hope everything works out for them," and then change the subject. Or, if the gossip continues, smile politely and excuse yourself. You'll notice how peaceful you feel later. Remember, silence can be powerful. You don't have to participate in every conversation that reaches your ears. Peace grows best in quiet soil, and your peace deserves to grow strong. 3. Can you help me with? Now this one might surprise you. Helping others is a beautiful thing. You've spent a lifetime giving, to your children, your parents, your friends, your community. But sometimes, people forget that even the kindest hearts need rest. As we age, our bodies and energy change. What used to be easy, lifting boxes, running errands, standing for hours, may not be so easy anymore. Yet many older adults find it hard to say no. They fear seeming selfish or unkind. But saying no isn't rejection. It's wisdom. Take Tom, a retired mechanic in his late 70s. One afternoon, his friend asked for help moving a heavy couch. Tom didn't want to disappoint anyone, so he said yes. He lifted more than he should have, and within minutes, he pulled a muscle in his back. That injury took months to heal. He later told me, I should have listened to my body instead of my pride. There's a lesson there. Helping others should never come at the cost of your health. When someone asks, can you help me with this, and you know it's too much, you can reply gently, I'm not sure I can do that safely, but I can help you find someone who can. That's kindness and wisdom together. You're not refusing to help, you're helping smartly. You're protecting your body, your time, and your peace. And when you protect yourself, you have more to give in the moments that truly matter. These 3 questions, about your children's partners, about gossip, and about favors, all seem small on the surface. But if you're not careful, they pull you into emotional storms you don't need. Being unbothered doesn't mean shutting people out. It means choosing which voices deserve your attention. It means understanding that not every question needs an answer, and not every story needs your comment. When someone tries to drag you into drama, remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You can choose peace. You can walk away. You can smile, change the subject, or simply stay quiet. That silence is not weakness, it's power. Because peace isn't the absence of noise, it's the decision to stop feeding it. Perfect. Here's point 3, questions that drain your energy, written in the same compassionate, soothing, and Category 3, questions that drain your energy. Some questions don't attack your privacy or create drama, they simply drain you. They sound casual, but they leave you feeling tired, pressured, or guilty. Let's look at 3 common ones, and how you can gently protect your peace from them. 1. Why don't you come out more? You should join us. If you're over 60 or 70, you've probably heard this one many times. Friends or relatives might say it kindly, you should come out more, attend this event, join this club. And sometimes, yes, getting out and connecting with others is beautiful. But when it becomes an expectation or a judgment, it starts to feel like pressure. Many seniors today feel guilty for simply enjoying quiet time at home. Society often sends the message that being social all the time equals being healthy, and staying home means you're lonely or withdrawn. But that's not true. Everyone recharges differently. I once met a lovely woman named Helen, a retired nurse in her 70s. She told me she used to join every social gathering in her community, the weekly luncheons, the book clubs, the potluck dinners. She said she didn't even enjoy half of them, but she kept going because she didn't want people to think she was antisocial. Eventually, she realized she came home more tired than fulfilled. So she made a choice, she stopped forcing herself. She picked only 2 activities she genuinely enjoyed, her gardening club and her book group, and declined the rest. She said, "That's when my smiles started to feel real again." The lesson here is simple, you don't owe anyone constant presence. Whether you spend your days reading, walking, or simply sitting by the window watching the world, that's still living. You've earned the right to enjoy peace without guilt. So when someone says, "Why don't you come out more?" just smile and reply, "I enjoy my peace at home." That one line says it all, gentle, firm, and free of explanation. Remember, your time is yours now. You've spent decades meeting everyone else's needs. This chapter is about meeting your own. 2. Why don't you use social media more or reply faster? In today's digital world, being connected often means being constantly available. People message, comment, call, tag, and if you don't reply fast enough, they think something's wrong. But for many older adults, this constant digital pressure feels overwhelming. Your phone buzzes, pings, flashes, all day. And even though technology helps us stay in touch with loved ones, it can easily start to control our peace. There was an older gentleman I once met named Robert. He joined Facebook to keep up with his grandkids. In the beginning, he loved it, the pictures, the updates, the birthdays. But then, he started getting added to group chats and online discussions that never seemed to stop. Hundreds of messages about politics, jokes, and endless chain posts filled his mornings. He said it got to the point where his day started with anxiety instead of calm. So he did something simple: he deleted most of the apps. He decided to check messages only twice a week. And you know what he said? It was like taking a deep breath after holding it for too long. That's what. 3. What do you think about that political or religious issue? This question, the one that can drain more energy in 10 minutes than housework does in a whole day. People love to debate, especially now. Everyone wants to share their opinion. But most of the time, they don't want to listen. They want you to agree. And when you don't, the discussion turns tense, emotional, even hurtful. A retired pastor once told me something that stayed with me. He said, "I used to think my job was to convince people. Now I know my job is to understand peace." After years of community debates, he realized people don't really want your opinion, they want confirmation of their own. So, he stopped arguing. When controversial topics came up, he simply said, "I can see both sides," and moved on. That's not avoidance, that's maturity. It's the wisdom of knowing that peace matters more than being right. Because no one wins a heated argument, but everyone loses a bit of calm. You don't need to explain your beliefs, defend your choices, or correct someone's views. Silence, in this case, isn't weakness, it's strength. It says, "My peace matters more than your debate." So next time someone brings up politics, religion, or any emotionally charged issue, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this conversation bringing me peace or pressure? If it's pressure, step back kindly. You can always say, "I think everyone has their reasons," and change the topic. It's graceful, respectful, and freeing. All these questions, about social life, online activity, or controversial issues, have one thing in common: they quietly drain your emotional energy. They make you feel like you must justify your choices, your pace, or your silence. But you don't. Being unbothered doesn't mean cutting people off. It means protecting your energy from things that don't feed your soul. It means saying, "I choose calm over chaos." In your younger years, you had to explain, defend, and prove. But now, you've earned the right to just be. You don't have to attend every event, reply to every message, or win every argument. You can simply choose peace. Because in the end, peace isn't something that happens by accident, it's something you create, protect, and nurture daily. And the quieter you become, the stronger it grows. As we reach the later chapters of life, peace becomes our greatest treasure. Not the kind of peace that depends on quiet rooms or perfect days, but the peace that lives deep inside, steady, strong, and untouchable. Being unbothered is not about ignoring people or shutting down emotions. It's about understanding what truly deserves your time, attention, and heart. Throughout your years, you have carried responsibilities, worries, and the weight of other people's expectations. You've explained yourself more times than you can count, tried to please others, and worked tirelessly to build a good life. But now, you've earned the right to slow down, to breathe, and to live on your own terms. Peace is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It's realizing that not every question needs an answer and not every argument needs a winner. When you choose calm over conflict, you protect something sacred, your serenity. So, when someone asks a question that crosses your boundaries, or tries to pull you into unnecessary drama, pause. Smile. Let it pass. You are not avoiding life, you are choosing the best part of it. Because at this stage, the goal isn't to prove anything, it's to feel everything in a softer, kinder way. The warmth of a morning coffee, the sound of birds, the laughter of someone you love, those are the real gifts of this season. Always remember, peace doesn't come from having no problems, it comes from refusing to let those problems steal your joy. You owe no explanations to anyone, only love, kindness, and peace to yourself. That's what it truly means to live unbothered.